As I mentioned earlier, this Shabbat we're carrying two Sifrei Torah, one for each holiday that we are observing at this moment. The first Sefer Torah is the weekly Torah portion, Korah. The second one is a special section that we read for the holiday of Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of the new month. And we are celebrating a new Hebrew month according to the Jewish calendar. I want to share a couple words about the first Sefer Torah we're going to read from the story of Korah. Now, does anyone know who Korah was? I heard rebel. Yeah, he was a rebel. That's right. Anyone know what Korah rebelled about? Think about Moshe. What was wrong with Moshe? Moses, just for those following along at home. What was wrong? Why are you the only one? Yeah. What do you mean? And his argument was, Kulam Kedoshim. We're all holy. You're holier than us? So I want to unpack, what does it mean to deal with when someone challenges your authority? This is not the first time that Moshe is being challenged as a leader of the Jewish people. Does anyone know the first time he is actually challenged as a leader of the Jewish people? Pharaoh. Okay, very good. Before Pharaoh. Before the burning bush. Where it's before the burning bush. So I heard the desert. If you go back to Exodus chapter 2, and if you want to follow along, you're welcome to. Moshe had been living in the palace of Pharaoh, and all of a sudden, we call this to be his teenage years, he's growing up, he goes out amongst his kinfolk and witnesses their labors. This is, at a certain point when you're a child, your eyes open up and you realize that there's this vast, diverse world around you. This is Moshe's moment. He sees an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his kinsmen. He turns this way and that, and seeing no one about it, he strikes the Egyptian and hit him in the sand. Okay? Moses sees a problem, and how does he deal with this problem? Aggressively, clearly, and gets it solved. Okay? When he goes out the next day, he finds two Hebrews fighting, so he said to the offender, "Why do you strike your fellow?" So now two Hebrews are fighting, and he turns and says, "Why are you guys fighting?" And this is Moshe, the violent fighter. And what is their response? And this is the first challenge of his authority. Ma shamcha leish sar v'shofet aleinu halhargeni ata omer? Who made you chief and ruler over us? Do you mean to kill me as you killed the Egyptian? This is just the beginning of Moses' journey, and he is challenged. Who are you to be the leader? Korah says, who makes you holier than ours? And this is not the first time that Moshe is being challenged as a leader. Now, we also got an insight in the first time he's challenged as a leader with Moshe's leadership style. He's pretty clear, pretty decisive. He sees a problem, he wants it fixed ASAP. And just in looking at this first part in chapter 2 of Exodus, how does that work out for him? Mixed answers, right? On one hand, the slave was not being abused anymore by the Egyptian taskmaster. On the other hand, it doesn't seem to inspire a sense of respect in Moses and a sense of trust that he can be someone whose wisdom can be heard. We're going to see the same thing again in one of the next major challenges of the people of Israel to Moses' leadership. A story that we're very familiar with, the story of the golden calf. And we all know the answer here. Moshe is late in coming down with the Ten Commandments. The people of Israel are looking for him They're looking for some guidance. They're a little bit lost. They build the golden calf. And how does Moses respond? Say it again. He destroys the tablets. I mean, this is a once-in-a-lifetime gift. This is made by the fingertips of God, and Moshe throws them down. We say he's getting angry. We say he's being emotional. He is definitely being decisive and clear, and the consequence is known. And now we're going to look at this week's Torah portion. Korah rises up against Moses. And what does Moses say to Korah and those who are following him and challenging his authority? Say it again. Let God choose. Okay. And then once it is all discovered, if you go to the section of Numbers 17, if you go to Numbers 16:10. We'll see here, we see the challenge of that he is that is being raised up against him, and Moshe declares that they should be destroyed in a go to 16:30, wrong verse. The Lord brings about something unheard of so that the ground opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that belongs to them, and they go down alive into Sheol. You shall know that these men have spurned the Lord. Moshe declares if they lose, this is going to be their punishment. They're going to be swallowed up by the earth. And what actually happens? They are indeed swallowed up by the earth. And Korah is done. Now, if you continue reading on, chapter 17, page 865, page 866, verse 6, the story goes, next day, the whole Israelite community rallied against Moses and Aaron, saying, you two have brought death upon the Lord's people. The people are still complaining. So Moshe, in his decisive leadership, does he ultimately resolve the problem of the people rising up against him and challenging him? No. So, what's the message here? What's the message that the Torah is giving us about Moses? And what I'll share with you is that it's not the best picture. That's the bad news. The good news is it's only part of the picture of Moshe's leadership. Because, as we all know, there is another person who is standing by Moses during the majority of these moments. And it is Aaron. Now, in chapter 2 of Exodus, Aaron is not there. But in the story of the golden calf, what is Aaron doing? He builds the golden calf. But why does he do so? Because he thinks that if by delaying the need for Moshe through the creation of an idol, it might prevent the people from engaging in full rebellion. Now again, with Aaron, there was success there, but there also was tragedy. In the story of the rebellion against Korah, after the second rebellion, it is Aaron's staff that not only chooses that Moshe's leadership, but also blossoms and shows that God will continue to favor the people of the tribe of Levi and cures the entire people of the plague that had fallen on them, and it's a source of healing. So whereas Moses is active and aggressive and decisive, Aaron is responsive and more passive. Moshe is giving direction. Aaron is trying to keep the people together. Now that we have the full picture of these two leaders, we could unpack how both of them have strengths and weaknesses. And I think this is the point of this week's Torah portion. It's one of the last moments we're going to see Moses and Aaron leading as a team with their leadership styles balancing each other. And for a Torah to carry both of these narratives, this isn't the Aaron story, this isn't the Moses story, but the Torah carries both of these stories. And I think that teaches us that there's validity to each of them. And I think in this day and age, where perhaps there might not be as much unity as we would like in this world, and we are looking for solutions for how to deal with the challenges that we face, it's very easy to quickly shift to, we need this type of leader, or we need this other type of leader. But maybe this week's Torah portion, and maybe the Torah is telling us that both of these leadership styles carry value. The rabbis add on to what it means to be a leader. And how do you decide what's the right path to go? When should I be decisive? When should I be promoting peace? And they add this beautiful piece in Masechet Brachot that I recently learned. There's actually this debate about, when was it that Moses led the people out of Egypt? Was it midnight? Was it during the middle day? It's not clear. And the rabbis say that and how do they deal with this division? They say, let every person open up a place in their heart where they allow themselves to say, I don't know. And I think in a time where we feel pressure to know everything, if we can enter roles of leadership with humility, with the space of saying, I don't know everything. Sometimes I need Aaron, and sometimes I need Moses. Like Aaron probably felt, sometimes I need my brother, and Moses felt, sometimes I need my brother. This perhaps can offer us a better path, a better way forward. There's another teaching in the Talmud that says, I chavruta o matuta. If you don't have a partner, it's like you're not living. And I would assume the same is true for leadership. I feel very fortunate, well, not today, to be able to serve as a rabbi alongside Rabbi Kornberg. And the fact that I have someone who I can compare my leadership style with, who I can explore the choices that I want to make with a partner, allows me to be a much more effective leader. More importantly, allows me to grow. So may we seek each other when we have challenging decisions to make, when we find the space in our hearts to admit, I don't know. And when we do, see that as an opportunity to learn from people that we surround ourselves with, who we trust and care about. And maybe then, these types of rebellions and the horrible solutions that take place in the Torah will no longer be, and we can dwell in shalom. I want to wish everyone Shabbat Shalom.